As an English learner, you sometimes experience a problem when you're reading something, or even when you're having a conversation with people, and even sometimes when you're listening to a podcast or other audio file. This problem is vocabulary. But there is a formula. This formula will help you to learn 1,000 English vocabulary words. And that's what I will teach you today. Welcome to Speak English with Tiffani. I'm Teacher Tiffani. Let's jump right in. Okay, so here's the problem. The problem is you want to improve your English vocabulary, but it just seems too hard. Now, let's look at this a little closer. So, the first thing is you memorize lots of words, but what happens is you can't remember or use them. Many of my students have told me that they memorize vocabulary words, but then when they get in conversations, they're not able to use them. And that's what happens. Or you start off strong, but what happens is you get tired and often give up. Okay? And often give up completely. Now, to be honest with you, I also experienced the same thing when I was studying Korean. I would study hundreds of vocabulary words, but then after 2 or 3 weeks, I would get tired and just stop. So, again, you start off strong, but you get tired and often give up completely. This is the problem. Now, there is a solution. The solution is 3 words lead to 1,000 words. Now, don't worry, I'm going to explain this very clearly, and it will really help you to learn 1,000 words. All right, now the first aspect of this solution, before I explain it in detail, is the memorization and repetition. Memorization and repetition is so important because it is a set pattern that will help your brain. Okay, that will help your brain. Now remember, in one of my previous video lessons, I explained how your brain works, okay? There are certain triggers that help your brain remember certain things, okay? So a set pattern will also help your brain when you're trying to remember or memorize English vocabulary words. And the next thing is learn and use. Many times you will learn vocabulary words, but you're not able to use them. This solution, this formula I'm going to teach you will help you do both, okay? So again, this will help you use them in daily life. When you meet someone that is a native English speaker or even another English learner, you can use the words that you're learning, okay? All right, so the breakdown. Let's look at the breakdown of this solution or this formula, okay? So again, 1,000 words by doing 3 words each day. But there's 5 parts: the select, memorize, visualize, apply, and review. Okay, so let's look at the breakdown in a little bit more detail. The first section is select. So you select the 3 words that you will use for that day. Now, remember in the beginning I said this is a formula, and it's actually a part of a 16-day cycle. Now, the first part of the cycle is the select column, the first column. So on the first day, day 1, you will learn only 3 words. And each day after that, you're only learning 3 new words. Now, let me explain exactly how this selection happens, okay? So once again, you select the words that you will use for that day. This is how it's going to happen. So let's start right here on top. There are many different ways that you can select words. Let's say, for example, that you are watching something on TV. So you can select words from TV shows or movies that you watch, okay? You may have a favorite American television show that you watch, and you may hear a vocabulary word that you don't know. So you can choose it from the television show. Or you may even have a special book or magazine or newspaper that you enjoy reading, an English newspaper or magazine. So you can pick a vocabulary word from books, magazines, or the newspaper, okay? Or the newspapers you read, okay? Newspapers that you read, all right? And the other method you can use actually is something that you may already have inside. So this is your brain. So there are some words that you already know. You can actually look for or find synonyms, okay? Find synonyms for words you already know. For example, let's say I already know the word big. That's a word that you already know. But a synonym for the word big is enormous. So I already know this word, but enormous is a synonym for that word. Okay, so these are 3 different ways you can actually select vocabulary words. Okay, let's keep going. So the next part of the breakdown is to memorize. You're going to memorize the definitions of the words from the previous day. So again, let's look at our 16-day cycle. Now we've moved to the second column, the memorized column. Now on the far left, you see the day column, the next the select, and the next the memorize. So on day 1, you only memorized or selected 3 words. Now on day 2, you still need to select 3 new words, but now is when you're going to memorize the 3 words you looked up the first day. It's very important. You're memorizing on the second day. Okay, let's go in more detail, okay? So again, memorize the definitions of the words from the previous day. Okay, so let's look at it a little closer. So here's what's going to happen. So right here, let's give him some glasses, okay? Let's give this student some glasses. So we have this student, this English learner right here. So what's going to happen? The first thing is to read over the words and meanings. You're going to think about them. Okay, remember I chose enormous, so I'm going to look over the word enormous and realize, this means big. This means big. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to make something, okay? I'll explain exactly what these are, okay? So you can write really tiny. All right, so what you're going to do, let's put RD, let's put it like this. You're going to make flash cards for each word. Remember, it's not going to take you a long time because it's only for 3 words, okay? Make flashcards, and then what you're going to do, let's put a little clock right here for us. We got a little clock right here. Put a little bell on top. Okay, what you're going to do is time yourself as you memorize, make this O a little better, as you memorize each word. you want to get to the point to where you can memorize and know 3 words in 30 seconds. Okay, this is your goal. Okay, this is your goal. Okay, all right, so let's keep going to the next phase. All right, so the next phase is to visualize. Now, for the visualizing step, you're going to select various images that go along with each of the vocabulary words. Use them to memorize the words more. Okay, so let's go back and look at the 16-day cycle again. So now we're on the next column, the visualize column, okay? All right, so again, on day 1, we selected 3 words. Day 2, we also selected 3 words, but then we also added the memorizing of the first 3 words. And we're also going to be visualizing on that day, the first 3 words. Now, again, I'm going to explain it very clearly. So let's jump in to explain it very clearly. Again, selecting various images that go along with each of the vocabulary words. Use them to memorize the words more. So here we go. All right, so the first thing you need to do, let's do a little head right here. Okay. Student with their eyes closed. Okay, let's get his brain right here. He's thinking his mind. All right, so what's going to happen is you first need to think about each word and see what picture pops into your head. This is important because everyone is different. If I say good food, the first thing that pops in my mind may be different from what pops in your mind. So it's important to see what pops into your mind. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to get on the computer. Let's do this. You're going to get on the computer. All right. And what you're going to do is you're going to go online and find an image that matches it. Okay? Find an image that matches what you saw in your mind. Okay? Now again, remember, it's only for 3 words, so it's not going to take you a long time. Okay? But go online and find an image that matches each word. So you're looking for 3 images. Okay? 3 images. Now, after you find the images, what you're going to do is you're going to make another flashcard, but this time, instead of the word being on the top, the word will be on the bottom, and on top you will place the image. Okay? So again, you're going to finally make image flashcards and practice with them. Remember, these steps are so important because you need to practice and learn vocabulary in different ways, not just sitting and looking at a book and memorizing. Your brain needs to see things that are visual and connected to different situations in order for you to learn and use the vocabulary words. So let's keep going. All right, so the next step is to apply. Now that you know the meanings, use each of the vocabulary words in a sentence that you create. Okay, so again, the 16-day cycle. Now we're on the next column, the apply column. So again, day 1, we just selected 3 new words. Day 2, we selected 3 new words and we also memorized and visualized the first 3 words. And now as we move down to day number 3, we're still selecting 3 words. We're memorizing what we learned or what we selected the previous day, and we're visualizing. And now we're applying the first 3 words. Now, this applying, I will explain. Okay, let's go and I will explain it in more detail. So again, now that you know the meanings, use each of the vocabulary words in a sentence that you create. So here's what's going to happen. So let's have a student right here. Okay, so we have this student right here, right? Now, this student is looking at something right now. So let's do this like this. Okay, let's have this right here. Let's give her some fingers. So she's holding the book. Okay, so this student is looking at something right now. What you're going to do is you're going to review the meaning and this is the key right here. Think about your life. This is key. Review the meaning and think about your life. So here we go. Let me show you an example. Okay, so let's look at an example so that you can understand exactly what this step means. So let's say, for example, I have this right here. Okay, this is my dictionary. Okay, and the word I selected was enormous. Okay, enormous, which means very big. Okay, so again, it means very big. That's the definition I found in the dictionary, correct? Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to look at the dictionary sentence example. Okay, I'm going to look for the dictionary sentence example, and let's say the dictionary says the building is enormous. Okay, the building is enormous. That's the pattern that the dictionary uses. The building is enormous. Now, what I'm going to do is think about my life, and I'm going to write my own sentence. So you're going to write your sentence. So your sentence, which is my sentence right now, is going to be, maybe my school. So I can say, my university is enormous. So what happened? I changed this part right here. So instead of the building, I put my university. But everything else is the same. This is what you're going to do for the apply step in this formula. Okay, let's keep going. Now, the last thing for the breakdown is the review step. The final step in the breakdown method is to review all of the previous steps and see which step you need to practice more. So remember, it's a 16-day cycle, all right? Now, this 16-day cycle has many different columns, but on the 16th day, you're going to review all of the 42 words you learned on the previous 15 days. Now, don't worry, I'm going to explain exactly how to do this. So let's look at it in more detail. Once again, the final step in the breakdown method is to review all of the previous steps and see which step you need to practice more. So let's jump in. Here we go. So the first thing we need to do, let's put our timer right here. So we have our little clock right here. This is our timer, our bell. Okay, so you're going to find a timer. And what you're going to do is you're going to set a 5-minute timer. This is very important. Only 5 minutes. Set a 5-minute timer for the review time. Okay, it's very important. Remember, you've been practicing these words for 15 days, so you should be able to bring them to mind very quickly. All right, so what you're going to do next is, remember, there was a 15-day period before the review day, okay? So let's just do it real quick like this, okay? Let's just kind of do a small sketch. So there's a 15-day period. And during that period, you had different flashcards. So we had a word flashcard. Remember, we had the word flashcard that we made. And we also had image flashcards that we made. Okay, so what's going to happen is you need to review both within the 5-minute time period. Now, it seems like a short period of time to review 42 words, but remember, your brain is amazing. You've been using and reviewing these words for a 15-day period. So that means you actually will know more than you realize. But what's going to happen is, during this 5-minute period, you need to go very quickly. And there may be some words that you get wrong. If there are words that you get wrong, that just means you need to review them again. So what's going to happen is you're going to have a separate pile. This is the review again pile. So what you're going to do is, if you get any wrong, put them in the review again pile. And what's important is what you're going to do is, when you start the next cycle, you're going to go over them every other day until you feel comfortable and you feel like you know them well. Okay, this is the review step. Okay, great job. Now, I've created the actual formula and spreadsheet that you will need to do this and put this into action. The 1000 vocabulary words plan is a free download that I created just for you. So if you want to download it, go to speakenglishwithtiffany.com/1000 vocabulary words. Again, it's totally free and you can use it to learn and use 1000 English vocabulary words. Also, remember to watch my next English video lesson that you can see on the left side of your screen. Until then, keep studying English and I'll talk to you again soon.